good, Tom. You're alive.
Batting first, wearing 16, the second baseman, Alex Hugo. Batting second, wearing 6, the first baseman, Malaika Underwood. Batting third, wearing 25, the left fielder, Ashton Lansdale. Batting fourth, and wearing 14, the designated hitter, is Kelsey Whitmore. Batting fifth, wearing 27, the third baseman is Kayla Underwood. Batting sixth, wearing 24, the shortstop is Jade Torres. And batting seventh, wearing 10, the center fielder is Olivia Pichardo. Batting eighth, wearing 9, the catcher is Anna Kimbrell. And batting ninth, and wearing 3, the right fielder is Elena Martinez. And the pitcher for Team USA, number 21, Elise Berger. Would the rest of the U.S. team please join their starting 9? Now your starting lineup for Team Canada. Batting first, wearing 5, the shortstop, Ellie Jesperson. Correction, I want to introduce the manager first, I'm sorry. The manager is Ashley Stevenson. Now batting first, wearing 5, the shortstop is Ellie Jesperson. Batting second, wearing 6, the left fielder is Mia Volk. Batting third, wearing 9, the designated hitter is Daphne Jelena. Batting fourth, and wearing 30, the first baseman is Elise Jelena. Batting fifth, and wearing 7, is the catcher, Reese Balachi. Batting sixth, wearing 13, the third baseman is Zoe Hicks. Batting seventh, wearing 4, the second baseman is Maddie Willen. Batting eighth, and wearing 3, the right fielder is Emma Carr. Batting ninth, and wearing 21, the center fielder is Claire Eccles. And for Team Canada, the pitcher, number 11, is Mena Floro. And now with the rest of Team Canada, please join their starting 9. The umpires, as assigned by your Baseball Canada for today's game. Behind home plate, Mr. Kevin Ireland. At first base, J.R. Richards. At second base, Elise Lolama. And at third base, Josh Haynes. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd ask you to please rise if you can. Please remove your caps for the playing of the national anthems of the United States and Canada. time, I'd like to turn things over to Mr. Larry Hebert, the Director of Ceremonies down on field level.
Sorry, the mic's not working. Oh, it is now, sorry. Anyway, thanks and welcome again to Baseball Central, Thunder Bay International Baseball Association, dedicated to bringing baseball on an international level to Thunder Bay. Made up of a group of volunteers that do that. We want to thank Baseball USA and Baseball Canada for supporting us over these years and getting big tournaments here. And we want to welcome especially the fans from out of town, US and Canada, have come with the team, parents, guardians, friends that have been come to Thunder Bay, and I hope you're enjoying our hospitality in Thunder Bay. We've had a great couple days, another great day with weather. And the other night we honored Amanda from Team Canada. Today we want to honor a couple of people we've lost of our group. First, Bitenhouse was a great player in his day. He played games here on the field for Boston Red Sox. Won 3 championships in 2007, 2009, and 2017. And he also is a certified chartered accountant, but he also is a scorer, official scorer for WSBC, and was looking forward to a trip to Florida. He has been to Florida once before for the Worlds and has been down to Taiwan as well, representing our group and Baseball Canada. So we want to thank Jay for that. Also, Bill Sutherland. Bill was a great catcher today. He worked for us in our tournaments in 2010 and 2017, sorry. And his daughter Heather was our French translator in 2010. We also want to recognize Bill. He was the first Canadian to have achieved a full baseball scholarship at a Big Ten school, and he went to the University of Minnesota. And his teammate of the day was Dave Winfield, who's a Hall of Famer, and is such a good athlete. He was drafted in 3 sports: baseball, basketball, and football. A very good athlete, and he remembered Bill after all these years as well. So I'd ask that first of all we have Leslie, her daughter Heather, and her husband Brian stand up in the audience and be recognized. Any relatives of Jay that are here, please stand up. We didn't hear back from them, but we don't know. Okay, and thank you. And ask everybody to stand and remove your hats and observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Enjoy the ball game.
Regarding your visit to Baseball Central, it's courtesy of our fans in accordance with Thunder Bay bylaw. Smoking is prohibited at Baseball Central. Chewing tobacco and vaping is also prohibited at Baseball Central. And once again, we do thank you for your cooperation. There is no smoking at Baseball Central. We'd also like to remind fans, please, to pay attention at all times to the action on the field. Baseballs and bats can come into the stands anytime. So please remember to keep your eyes on the game. And also we'd like to remind the fans, if baseballs are hit out of play, please return them to the dugouts when time is called. Baseballs are not allowed to be kept. They must be returned to the playing field, please. Thank you.
Well, viewers from around the world, literally, not just Canada and the USA, but we're sure that Japan and Taiwan, ranked number 1 and 2 in the world, respectively, by the World Baseball Softball Confederation, are watching to pick up what they can, scouting in advance for the 2024 World Cup. And we do the same with them. And we've had hundreds of people tuned in with this, and we're really glad to have you here. My name is Tommy V. We are in Thunder Bay, Ontario, where the USA Bats have been Thunder Bats that are scario. They have scored 23 runs in the first 2 games, and Canada has been held to 3. This is the midpoint. This is game 3 of the 2022 Women's Baseball Friendship Series being hosted here. They flipped the home game honors, so as you see the red and white taking the field, that's Canada from the third base dugout. The USA was the home team last night. Today the USA is on the first base side, and they're wearing their navy blue shirts with gray pants. Umpiring today's game is at the plate, J.R. Richards. First base is Elise Berger. Third base is Tasha Haynes. And I'm going to get the second base umpire for you in just a sec. Well, that's going to be Elise then. Yeah, second base Elise, third base Tasha Haynes, and first base J.R. Richards. And home plate again is Kevin Ireland. The three men, Ireland, Richards, are the two men are from Thunder Bay here, part of the Umpire Association. There are no female umpires in Thunder Bay, and the two female umpires are from Ottawa and Milton, Ontario. Milton is a suburb of Toronto, more or less. It's where the traffic stops if you're on North America's busiest highway, Highway 401, trying to go west into Toronto. You can always count on having a stopover at Milton. Bottlenecks there, no matter, and people will say, well, I'm going the right direction. I'm going into Toronto instead of away from Toronto. That doesn't work. It's just always a bottleneck. The USA pitchers have put on a show of the first two games. Kelsey Whitmore was she basically Shohei Ohtani'd Canada the first game. She threw 3 brilliant innings and had 2 relievers that kept Canada to just 1 run. She also was 3 for 3 in the game, including a bomb of a home run, a triple and a single, knocking in 4 altogether. And right with her was the next day pitcher. That was Olivia Pichardo, threw 4.2 innings, allowed Canada just 1 run in the top of the first, and her and the relievers didn't allow anything further than that. So the pitching and the hitting has definitely in the USA's favor. The defense as well, as Canada has made some jittery errors in the first couple of innings in both games. Let's see if today there's another big crowd here. Last night we had over 1,000. Today we're in the several hundreds. And yeah, they haven't played in 3 years. This is a young roster. There was TV cameras out last night. There's a lot of first time, the same field, same ball, same distances, same bats, but different when you've got Canada USA on the line. And here's a line shot to dead center field. That's going to drop and be a 1-hop single as Claire Eccles, Canada's center fielder, gets it into second base in a hurry.
Batting second over in 6th, the first baseman, Malaika Underwood.
That makes Hugo 4 for 9 for the 3-game series so far. What a good leadoff hitter she is. Malaika Underwood is the number 2 hitter for the USA. She's 1 for 4 so far in these 3 games. Scored a couple of runs. Was walked and was hit by a pitch and didn't appreciate it in the first game. She's the KG veteran of the USA team, 41 years old, and she gave the look to Ali Schroeder, Canada's pitcher, like, what are you doing? Hit someone else, not me. But she's okay. She's played all 3 games, starting this game in the 2-hole for the USA. Runner on first. We've just begun. It's 0-0. Nobody out here in the top of the first. Mena Florio pitching for Canada, and Hugo steals second base successfully. She got a great jump. Catcher for Canada, Reese Veloci, didn't have much of a chance to throw her out. There was a big crowd at second base. The middle infielders both there. The runner sliding in, and the ball got there at the same time as everybody. Scooted into center field, but Eccles got it in on time. No problem there. So stolen base for the leadoff batter, Hugo. And you can expect the USA to remain very aggressive. They aren't here to win a couple games and then gear it down, put it in neutral so Canada can feel good. It is called the Friendship Series, but these two teams are very fierce rivals. I mentioned Japan and Taiwan at the start of the telecast, and they are ranked 1 and 2 in the WBSC World Rankings. Well, Canada's ranked 3 and USA's ranked 4. The Americans are looking up. They want to climb all the way to the top, and they have to start with Canada. And so far, they're doing a job on the maple syrup team today and yesterday and the day before. Hugo leading off. They scored in the first inning in both games so far, and they've got their leadoff batter at second base in scoring position here in game 3. Second base got dislodged there when Hugo slid in, so they're making sure it's locked and loaded, safe and sound. One thing for sure, we don't want to get anyone hurt here. These bases look like they're the magnetic type. Well, we're in a delay here. You Americans know that we've got the Toronto Blue Jays here. We're very proud of them. We all root for them. It's a kind of a galvanizing existence, but there are also more than a dozen Canadians in the major leagues. And I thought we had more of a break there, so I'll touch on that a bit later. And let's go back to the hitter, Kayla Underwood, pitching for Canada, Mena Florio. Florio has a close stance on the mound, so some deception there. Throws a sinker ball. That was one right there that Underwood was able to take to left field. Underwood might have been sent home had there been 2 outs, but there's nobody out, and you got to believe when you get a runner to third base, she's going to get plated safely. So third base coach Manny Crespo decided to hold her up. That puts runners at first and third on the ground ball single to left field by Underwood. And talk about ways to get runners in from third base. These next 2 hitters have been very dangerous for the first 2 days. Ashton Lansdell is 5 for 9. Those 5 hits, by the way, include 3 triples and a double. She's knocked in 4. She scored 5 times. She is putting on a hitting show. The real Thunder Bat in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Thunder Bay, if you don't know where it is on the northwest beach of Lake Superior, the highest lake of the 5 Great Lakes. Closest U.S. point would be the northeast tip of Minnesota. Team USA trained in St. Paul, about 6 hours away. Canada had a longer drive, believe it or not. They came here from Stonewall, Manitoba, playing their national championship, and that was an 8-hour bus ride. You wouldn't think the Americans had a shorter trip, but they did. They were smart. USA Baseball based their training camp and tryout camp and Stars versus Stripes games, all in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Florio throws a sinker. That's her bread and butter pitch. She has a close stance, doesn't show you the ball very much, and there's another one right there. She kind of holds it, a very unusual grip. It's kind of between a split finger and a circle change. She doesn't really want to tell anyone the answer because it's very effective. She had great outings in the national championships last week. A pickoff attempt to first base. I liked how Hugo darted down the third baseline. As soon as she saw that throw going to first, she thought, you're going to throw it wide or first baseman's going to drop it. I'm going to maybe try to score on that. Ashton Lansdell having a great tournament so far, is up with a 1-1 count. Runners on the corners. Runner stealing. Fly ball to shallow right. I don't think that's enough to score the runner. And the runner at first will not be tagged up, but she is thrown out at first for not tagging up. And in the meantime, the runner from third scores. So the USA plates a run in the first inning yet again, 3 nights in a row, but a fair trade-off for Canada as there was a fly ball to right field. And Emma Carr threw a bullet to first base and beat the stealing runner who was decoyed at second base, Kayla Underwood. So she's out on a 9-3 throw. The batter's out on a fly ball to the 9 if you're scoring, and that makes 2 outs, bases cleared, and USA has a 1-0 lead. Kelsey Whitmore, I mentioned earlier, hit about a 375-foot home run right to the light pole in left center field. It was well over the fence. The left fielder for Canada simply watched it go. It would be out of any major league ballpark. Sinker fouled back, makes the count 1-1. Whitmore was 3 for 3 the first game. She also had a 1 for 4 second game when she played the outfield. Knocked in 2 more runs, so her total is 6 RBI in just 2 games. And her batting average is over 500. She's 4 for 7. Puts her at about a 420 pace. Excuse me, 520 pace. One thing about Florio, she doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, but she does get a lot of ground balls. And there's another one. That's her bread and butter. Trusting the defense. Canada gets out with a respectable first inning. There were runners on the corners with nobody out, and they wound up only giving up a run. The USA now has the lead after 1/2 of the first inning.
To buy your 50-50 tickets, last night's pot was $641 going to the winner.
And the USA scores 1 run on 2 hits with nobody stranded.
Optimus International.
And up come the Canadians. And I think they'll trade off that danger they were in for only giving up one run. Mighty offense here for the Americans. You want to put up straight numbers, not crooked numbers on the scoreboard. A 1 is not going to be the determining run of this ball game. You can guarantee that. The pitchers' arms are tired from both countries because they both competed for about 2 weeks in their respective championships and tryout camps, etc. So they're not totally rested enough to come in here and pitch to their best. So the hitters have, I would say, the advantage, at least at this point.
For Team USA, this is what we set up defensive news this afternoon at Baseball Central. At first base, Malaika Underwood. At second base, Alex Schroeder.
Yes.
And at third base, Maddie Willen. Playing shortstop is Jade Torres. In left field is Anthony Lansdale. In center field is Olivia Pichardo. In right field is Elena Martinez. Catching will be Anna Kimbrough. And on the bump this afternoon here at Baseball Central is Elise Berger.
So on the mound for the USA is Elise Berger, a right-hander. She plays at Champlain Valley Union High School. Yes, high school. Class of 2024. A youngster. She received high school honors with a GPA of 3.65, named the New England Baseball Complex All-Tournament time. She was invited to the National Team Development Program I spoke about in Minneapolis, and this year marks the first time she's been named to the women's national team, and here she is pitching the Hump Day game. We're at day 3, game 3 of this 5-game friendship series, and what a tribute to be a rookie on this team and get a start among this strong pitching staff. Comes right over the top of their fastball. She's tall, so it's kind of a different plane to the hitters. Has a 1-on-1 count on Ellie Jesperson, the Canadian leadoff hitter. She has led off both games with a single. Let's see if she can keep that streak up. That's inside. No, it's called a strike on the inside corner. Jesperson kind of walks away further than normal. That's her way of saying, I didn't really agree with that, Mr. Umpire Kevin Ireland, but what can she do? It's 1-2. Curveball thrown inside. Makes the count 2-2. So Jesperson is 2 for 7 so far in this 5-game series, 2 games old so far. She's led off all 3 games for the Canadians. Curveball just a smidgen high, making the count full. Jesperson doing what a good leadoff hitter does. She wants to show the other hitters. Mia Volk is on deck, Daphne Genola and the whole. They want to see what this pitcher's got in their arsenal, and Jesperson has already made it throw 5 pitches. Fastball just high, and Jesperson draws a walk. For the 3rd straight game, she reaches first base to lead off. Counter staying in that hole with this kind of performance. Way to go. Jesperson has 2 sisters at home watching for sure, because all 3 of them played for Team Alberta in the Nationals last week. Ellie made the trip here. Mia Volk is the 2-hitter for Canada today. Hails from Ontario. Fastball taken deep down the left field line. It might hook foul. No, it won't. It's going to reach the fence. Volk's looking at 2. Jesperson may be sent home. Here comes the relay. It's dropped, but it's not going to lead to a run, as Ashley Stevenson, the third base coach, is going to follow Crespo's position in the top of the first when he held his leadoff hitter at third base, thinking, hey, we got 3 hitters to try to score you, let's not risk it. Volk hits the first pitch fastball right to the 330 sign in the left field corner and has a double to prove for it. And this brings up Daphne Genola, a lefty who knocked in a run yesterday. She's over 5 in the tournament, but in this exact situation in yesterday's game, she pulled the ground ball to the right side, grounded out, but scored Canada's only run of the game. Daphne's playing in the DH role today, batting for the Canadian pitcher, Mena Florio. Florio's a hitter as well. She plays infield, but when she pitches, they normally don't bat her. Fastball outside corner. Good place to pitch. She throws hard and she's staying outside, hoping that Jelena will not be able to pull the ball. She pulls the ball, we're going to score a run. If she hits it to the left side, you just don't know. The runners have to make that decision. And that's a line shot. Runners will tag for sure this time, and they do. That's going to drop. Volk won't have a chance to score. She had to wait as well to make sure that ball was not caught. But a line drive single brings home the game's first run, as Jelena did yesterday. Jesperson, who walked to get on, scores. Volk advances to third, and with an RBI single line drive to right field, Daphne Jelena is on the other corner. Canada has tied it up and is threatening with nobody out. A walk, a double, and a single. Elise Jelena now stands in the box for Canada. She's 1 for 4, has an RBI herself. Reese Valache on deck for Canada. Daphne Jelena can run, so you never know. Ashley Stevenson, just like Veronica Alvarez, is a very aggressive coach. She's had a couple runners thrown out, but you take that baggage with the stolen bases that they have. They have more stolen bases than caught stealing. Ball's inside corner, but Anna Kimbrell knocks it down, keeps it in front. That's all you want to do with a runner on third, 90 feet away. Don't try to catch it. Just throw your body in front of it. Try to get the ball to bounce in front of you, nowhere else. Elise Jelena, 1-1 count. Runner on first and third. She also is going to try to pull the ball. Catcher sets up outside, but she slices it to left, and it's going to drop. Another line drive single, this time to left field. And both Jelenas, not sisters, Daphne and Elise, hit line drive singles to score Canada's first 2 runs of the game. Volk, who doubled to the left field corner, now touches the plate. Daphne Jelena reaches second on the hit, and Elise Jelena is standing at first. What did the Canadians have for breakfast today at their dorm at Lakehead University? Maybe some spinach, maybe some Red Bull, I don't know, but follow that same recipe because they led the game off with 4 runners reaching base. Ellie Jesperson began with a 3-2 full count walk. She was 1-2 at one time, and she battled the pitcher to draw a walk. Mia Volk doubled to the left field corner on a first pitch fastball. Daphne Jelena drove a single on a line drive. You couldn't tell if the right fielder would catch it or not. Both runners tagged wisely, and that allowed Jesperson to score when the one hopped the right fielder. And then Elise Jelena did the mirror image of that, hitting a line drive, unsure if it might be caught. One hopper to the left field, which allowed Volk to score. Puts Canada in front 2-1. With runners at first and second, and this is Reese Valache. This will be her first at-bat of the tournament. Youngster from Ontario, watch out. She's not going to take one in the back. She wants to get a base hit with her bat. Sometimes you'll see a hitter with 2 strikes kind of not get out of the way very quickly and take that, but she's not that kind of player. She's catching for Canada today, has a strong arm. Watched her work in practice 2 days ago, throwing to second, throwing to third. Ella Matucci is Canada's veteran catcher at 29. Valachi is only 17. Imagine putting on the Canadian uniform for the women's senior team at 17 years old, 12 years younger than the starting catcher. Got to have a bit of nerves, but let's see if she can get the bat on the ball and at least move the runners, if not score anybody. Fastball down low. That's a 3-0 count on Valache. You can count on her taking a pitch here. She's got 3 to put the ball in play, but with Elise Berger struggling a bit, you'll take one, even if it's a right down the middle strike. Valache shows some patience, draws a walk, and loads the bases for Canada. And believe me, a 2-1 lead is never safe against the red, white, and blue. They have touched the plate 23 times in the first 2 games. They beat Canada 16-2 on day 1, and last night a more reasonable score, 7-1. They took an early lead and just cruised. They scored 4 in the first, 1 in each of the second, third, and fourth innings, and beat Canada 7-1 last night. Canada's 3rd left-handed batter of the 6 who have stepped into the plate. Zoe Hicks is up. She's 1 for 4 for the tournament. Hicks is from Manitoba. Outside fastball, strike 1. Hicks and another player from Nova Scotia who's not here, and Carly Jackson, have a podcast trying to pump up and improve and increase the attention of women's sports. It's called Less Than 5%, and it's called that because in all the media, papers, TV, radio, 95+% is about men's sports. So they call it less than 5%, more than 5%, because they want that to grow. So jot that down and check them out. They're very dynamic young women. Carly Jackson is a pistol. Count is 2-2 on Zoe Hicks. Bases are loaded for Canada. USA scored 1 on the top of the first. I know we have no scoreboard on the screen. We apologize for that, so I'll try to keep saying it and remember. And a bit of a changeup outside. Fools Hicks. She tried to put the bat on the ball, but she struck out. Big out with bases loaded and nobody out. Brings up the hitter Maddie Willen. Maddie Willen is 2 for 4 in the tournament, and both hits have been hard line drives, bullets. One pulled to the left side and one last night directly over the pitcher's head. Looking for one of these here. Maybe played another couple of runs. A 1-run lead is not safe on the USA. Takes a curveball for ball 1. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Played up today is Kevin Ireland from Thunder Bay right here. Crowd is now filled in. The stands are all full up. Another maybe 500-person crowd. And a strike called. Willen looking to get bat on ball. We don't want to leave 3 runners out there. Inside fastball popped up. Luckily, that's going to go foul. But unluckily, that puts Maddie Willen into a pitcher's count, 1-2. And Elise Berger seems like she'll throw any of her pitches at any time. So Maddie Willen can't guess. And actually, with a 1-2 count, the best thing you can do is guess fastball. You can always react to a curve, but you can't guess curve, which is what it was. It's fouled back, but it's going to hit the screen. Therefore, Anna Kimbrell has no play on it. That's what you do with 2 strikes. You might think the pitch is going to get a curveball, but you've got to convince your mind to think fastball, fastball, and then react to a soft pitch versus thinking soft. The hard pitch comes in and you never catch up to it. Let's see what she'll go with here. Outside stance of the catcher. Fastball on the corner, but called the ball. 2-2. Wouldn't be surprised to see her follow up with her curveball, maybe starting on the outside and hoping she thinks it's a fastball and swings at it. Let's see. It's the fastball again, fouled off. What an at-bat here by Maddie Willen. Against U.S. pitcher Elise Berger. Her battery mate is Anna Kimbrell. First base for the Americans is Kayla Underwood. Second base, Alex Hugo. Shortstop made some great plays this week already. Jade Gorteres and Kylie Lawners is at third for the USA. In the outfield is Ashton Lansdale, big-time hitter in left field. Olivia Pichardo, yesterday's pitcher, playing center, and Elena Martinez, a youngster playing in right field. She's the youngest player on the American roster, 16 years old. They got a 16-year-old and a 41-year-old. How about that? Curveball hit up the middle. Maddie Willen gets another big hit. The runner's being sent. Look out! And Ashley Stevenson changed her mind and wisely sent back the runner, Elise Berger. Daphne Jelena on third base scored easily on the ground ball up the middle, but Elise, having to run on the dirt, took a little bit longer coming to third. Stevenson, watching the ball get through the infield, was waving home Elise Jelena, but then she saw how quickly the U.S. center fielder Olivia Pichardo got to the ball, threw a hard throw home, and screamed, "Get back!" And luckily, Elise was able to hear her above the noise of the crowd. So the bases remain loaded. Canada goes ahead 3-1. There's still only 1 out in the inning. Chalk up an RBI. And there's a ground ball. This is trouble. The throw is going home, but it's high. No slide by the runner. And, well, it was actually a force play. That's why. Although she was off the plate, she might have been able to slide under that, but she may have forgotten that the catcher wasn't on the plate. Regardless, it's a grounder to the pitcher by Emma Carr. And it's going to be a 1-2 force out at home plate. So Elise Berger is out on the throw, 1-2. Emma Carr is standing on first on a fielder's choice. That makes 2 outs for Canada. And the number 9 hitter, Canada getting through the lineup, is a very fine hitter. Hasn't had a lot of reps. She's works with Soccer Canada. She wasn't at the Nationals last week, but you know she found batting cages all over I think they're in Alabama, somewhere like that. It's Claire Eccles. She has a 7-year stint with the national team. Her and Ella Matucci are the 2 KG veterans of their club. She's been up lots of times in lots of situations. Good left-handed hitter, played softball at UBC. Hits a grounder to short, decoyed a bit, but it should be an easy flip to second. The inning is over. Canada strands 3 runners, but at the same time, they did score 3 runs on 4 hits in the top of the first. That's the equivalent of what Canada scored in the first 2 games. So they're off to a great offensive start after 1 complete inning. Canada 3, USA 1. It's only the second time Canada has held the lead. And the last time they took the lead, the USA plated 4 runs in their next at-bat. So let's see them respond to this one, which they likely will. There's no holes in their lineup. I was mentioning the Canadians in the Major League, so let's see if you fans out there in America, of course, and Canada, are aware that these guys are playing Major League Baseball, yet they were born north of the 49th parallel. Charles LeBlanc was called up to the Miami Marlins last night. He is an infielder. He was with the AAA Jacksonville team. He's from Laval, Quebec. Matt Brash from Kingston, Ontario, plays for the Seattle Mariners as a pitcher. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., who hasn't heard of him, playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. Son of Vladimir Guerrero, born when Vladdy played for the Montreal Expos. Otto Lopez, a center fielder, also with the Toronto Blue Jays, born in Montreal. Josh Naylor from Mississauga, Ontario, plays with the Cleveland Guardians. Power hitter and a great hitter, not just power. Tyler O'Neill, will talk about power hitter, plays for the St. Louis Cardinals, hails from Maple Ridge, BC, is a left fielder. Does that ring a bell, Maple Ridge? Oh yeah, a Hall of Famer, Larry Walker, was from there. James Paxton, a left-handed pitcher from Ladner, BC, plays for the Boston Red Sox, and so does Nick Pivetta, both are pitchers. Pivetta hailing from Victoria, BC. Zach Pop is a pitcher with the Miami Marlins, comes from Brampton, Ontario. How about Cal Quantrill, son of the longevity man, Paul Quantrill, pitched a ton of years in the major leagues, over 860 appearances for his dad. Cal's off to a great start as a starter for Cleveland. He's from Port Hope, Ontario, where Paul still lives, and their family. Jordan Romano, the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays, is from Markham, Ontario, a suburb of Toronto. Mike Soroka, often injured, but when he's hot, he's almost a Cy Young candidate for the Atlanta Braves. Comes from Calgary. 3 more. Abraham Toro, the Seattle Mariners. All the Canadians in Vancouver go to see him play. There's Rowan Wick from the North Vancouver area, plays for Chicago Cubs. And one more. Who is that? I think he can play a little bit. Oh, yeah. He's an MVP. Joey Votto hails from Etobicoke, Ontario. Plays, of course, for the Cincinnati Reds. We're proud of all you guys, and thanks for inspiring the young Canadians to play baseball. And there's our list for tonight to the American viewers, educating them on Canada. I gave them the top 10 actors from Canada who have gone to be stars in the USA, and the day before was what? The top 10 singers? I'll have to look that up. But I got more for you, don't worry. Leading off for the USA this inning, after Canada put 3 on the board in the bottom of the first, is the Americans' 5-hitter. She's Kylie Lawners, 29-year-old third baseman. She is 1 for 5, scored a pair, and knocked in 2 runs so far in the 5-game series, so her bat's been active. Facing Mena Florio, the Americans will see a ton of sinker balls from Mena. She uses her defense. She pitched about 10 innings in Manitoba. I don't have her stats at hand, but she only struck out 1 batter. She just gets people grounding out all the time. And there's another ground ball, but this one's to the hole. It's going to be a very tough play. Long throw to first base. She's got to jump, and she got it. Elise Berger gets on her tiptoes to grab the throw from Ellie Jefferson at short to make a 6-3 in the book look easy, but it wasn't an easy play for either one. Jesperson had to go into the hole, make a long throw across the diamond. That was about a 140-foot throw, but it was high. That's all kind of arm Jesperson has. I thought Elisa Jello would have to leap, but she just got up on her tiptoes and was able to catch an ice cream cone in her glove. Jade Gutierrez, is she having a tournament on both sides of the ball. Here's a repeat of that. Backhanded by Jesperson again. Long throw. Jelena comes off the bag. Did the right thing. You got to get the ball first. You can't just try to stretch like Gumby from first base. So she went and chased the wide throw, and that will be an error charged to Jefferson, the shortstop. Tough throw to make when she had to go to her right, but I think the official score will call that an error because had the throw been on target, she would have been out. Elise Jelena gets off the bag to keep the runner at first. Had she tried to stretch it, definitely would have gone by, and who knows, the runner could have got the third. This is a very wide ballpark with large foul areas. Oftentimes there's foul balls that land inside the park, and the first base and third baseman can't even get to them because the fence is so far away. Olivia Pichardo comes to the plate now for the Americans. They've got a runner on first. There's one out. We're in the top of the second inning if you just tuned in. Yes, Canada 3, Americans 1. The red, white, and blue played it a run in the first inning like they've scored the first 2 games in the first inning, and then Canada came back with 3, matching their total for the first 2 games, and left 3 runners on base. They were threatening for maybe a 5 or 6 run inning, but the Americans kept them at bay. Throw over to first base. That pitcher for Canada is Mena Floria. Mena Florio is from, I know it's Ontario. I just want to make sure I get her hometown right. Vaughan, Ontario. It's on the north side suburb of Toronto. Grounder to second. This won't be 2, but it should be 1. On their knees, throw to first, and she got her. Maddie Willen kind of surrounded the ball and just played like a hockey goalie, knocking it down. Picked it up in the dirt, didn't have time to stand up. She just threw it from her knees over to Jelena. So another 4-3 in the book is a lot tougher than it looks, and that makes 2 outs. Of course, on the grounder to the hole, Jade Gotara advanced safely to second base, so she's in scoring position with a catcher for the Americans, Anna Kimbrell, now at the plate. Kimbrell hits a curveball. She pulled it down the line sharply. What resumes these Americans have. Anna Kimbrell, 31 years old, played baseball in high school, boys baseball, then softball at Samford University. First female to join junior varsity, and the American Legion Baseball in the state of South Carolina. How about that? 9-time USA Baseball alumni. This is her 10th season wearing the USA letters on the front of her shirt. How about that? I get chills on that. She helped the U.S. win the gold medal in 2015, competed in the 2019 Pan Am Championship where U.S. also won gold. She owns a lawn care business, is a youth hitting and catching instructor, giving back already. 31 years old, 31 flavors. She's got a lot of tentacles in her pedigree. So congratulations to you, Anna, and keep doing the good work, not only for the USA's baseball team, but also giving back to your community. Kimbrell has a runner on second, would like to narrow the lead by 1 with a base hit here. It's her first at-bat of the game. The ball hits the ground and hit the batter, but she was still in the batter's box. If she had been out of the batter's box, accident or not, she would have been called out. Home plate umpire Kevin Ireland saw it very cleanly, didn't get mixed up. Count is 1-2. Still the pitcher's count. Florio will probably come with a sinker inside here. It's a high ball. Makes it 2-2. The runner's trotting to third. Oh, it was a balk. It was a balk called on pitcher Mena Floria. I don't think she came to a pause. Pitcher has to come to what's called a discernible pause. That means it has to be there enough so we can see it. So that puts the runner on third, still in scoring position, but not real harm. That is if we get a third out here. And that's going to happen. Ground ball to third. Zoe Hicks with the throw to first. Bang, right to the chest of Elise Berger. Finally, Berger had an easy play to make after 3 tough ones. And the Canadians don't allow the Americans to score on a 6-3, a 4-3, and a 5-3. Mena Florio getting her typical ground balls with her sinker ball. And the Americans do not score. They had no hits and 1 runner left on. They'll begin with Elena Martinez leading off, the 9-hitter in the 3rd inning. I mentioned Canadian hitters batting left. Many in our lineup here today. Many greats in the major leagues. Larry Walker and Justin Morneau also were MVPs, left-handed power hitters like Joey Votto. Josh Naylor, the slugger Canadian for the Cleveland Guardians, is another one of those. Abraham Toro for the Mariners bats left. Tyler O'Neill, of course, also from Maple Ridge, so of course he bats left like his idol Larry Walker did. But there's a couple of righties who swing the bat all right. One of them is named Vladdy Guerrero. Boy, are we proud to have him playing for the Maple Leafs, the Canadian national team. Thank goodness he was born in Montreal. He did a big part of his growing up in the Dominican Republic, but he holds a Canadian passport, and therefore he's eligible to play for Team Canada. And we trade off a few of those. There's several Canadians who grew up in the USA and have made great accomplishments in baseball, so we'll call it an even trade. Vladdy Guerrero has a great career going already and has obviously a great future in front of him. The lightning rod of the Toronto Blue Jays, but he's surrounded by some pretty good players too. If the playoffs were today, they would make them in a wild card spot, but there's a lot of season to go, so they got to keep playing well. They're about 10 games over. They lost to the Detroit Tigers last night. Low fastball is grounded to short. It's bobbled, and therefore the Canadians get their first batter on base. How about the first at bat for the second at bat, because we're at the top of the order for Ellie Jesperson, reaching on an error by the shortstop. Mia Volk comes to the plate. Volk doubled and scored in her first time up. Swung at the first pitch. They'll probably throw her something soft on this one because that one was a fastball that she turned on well. A curveball, all right, almost hit her in the back. They were going to back her off the plate a little bit too. 1-0 count to Volk. Don't be surprised with the speedy Jefferson on first if Ashley Stevenson calls a hit and run or something, but you'll probably wait for a strike or so on Volk. There's nobody out. Canadians are already having a man on base. A woman on base, excuse me. Fastball on the outside corner, but called ball two. Puts Elise Berger in a position where she more or less has to give Volk a fastball. You don't normally throw at a junk pitch with a 2-0 count. Fastball, Volk swings. That's a ground ball up the middle. Will it get through? No, it's stopped by the second baseman. And she tried to get the out at second. She had to throw it with her glove. I don't think she was able to get it to her hand and make a good transition, so she tried the best she could. And the throw was just offline. I don't think that'll go down as an error. That'll probably be an infield single or fielder's choice maybe for the hitter Volk, and maybe a fielder's choice that wasn't successful. They did give Volk a single. That comes from Lizzie, and I'll take it because Lizzie has never been wrong since she's been here. So Volk is given a single by the official scorer from the WBSC. That puts runners on first and second. She got her 2-0 fastball and hit it right up the middle. Coming to the plate now, Daphne Gellin knocked in Canada's first run of the game with a line drive to right field. Gellin up with 2 runners on, 2 speedy runners on. And the count goes to 2-0 again. Berger has put herself in a pitcher's count often in these first 2 innings. The Americans' first 2 starters did not find that trouble. They had both excellent starts. Kelsey Whitmore going 3 innings and not allowing a run, while Olivia Pichardo yesterday for the Americans threw 4 2/3 innings and didn't allow a run. Oh yes, she did. She allowed Canada's 1 run in the first inning. Two and 1 count here on Canada's number 3 hitter, Daphne Gellin. Swing and another line drive to the right side. This might score. Jesperson, the speedy runner on second base, but she's held. Right fielder bobbled a bit as she transitioned for her throw. The ball's kind of rolling through, so obviously she would have scored. But of course, Ashley Stevenson, the third base coach and manager for Canada, does not have a crystal ball. Don't we all wish we did? Played it safe, nobody out. Speedy runner on third. You got to believe she's going to find a way to score. So the ball was hit so hard that it became a question whether or not Ashley should send her. So there's another hit, loading the bases. Jesperson began the second, reaching by an error by the shortstop. Volk and Gellin have both singled to load the bases up for Elise Berger. Canada's second baseman takes a backdoor curveball, strike 1. Elise Berger knocked in Canada's second run with a line drive to the opposite field. Fastball, fly ball, that's deep enough to score a run. The left fielder has to retreat on it. Ashton Lansdell snags it, throws it. The runners from first and second will have to stay where they were. However, that's a sac fly for Elise Berger. That's not an official at bat, but it sure is an official RBI. A great piece of hitting to score the run. Gives Canada a 4-1 lead. Volk at second and Daphne Jelena at first had to stay where they were, as it's a much shorter throw to third base, so they played it safe. And this brings up Reese Veloce, Canada's young catcher, playing her first game of the series today. Began with a walk to chip in with a rally in the first inning. Now looking for her first base hit of the Friendship Series. Fastball swung and foul to the right side, a little bit late. Veloci at 17 would not have faced a lot of pitching at this velocity. All the girls play on boys teams in one way or another, so they do face some 75 to 80 mile pitches, but not plenty. I would say it's scarce. So no wonder she was late on that curveball. I can't believe that didn't hit her. Just missed her. She got thrown out the first time up too. They're trying to tell this 17-year-old, this is your welcome. We're going to try to plunk you twice. Both times she got out of the way. That makes the count 1-1. Reese Veloce, the catcher for Canada, is up here with runners on first and second. Top of the second inning. 4-1 lead for Canada. A low fastball makes the count 2-1. The Americans began the top of the first, plating one runner. Canada responded with 3 in the bottom of the first with 4 hits. The Americans were shut down in the top of the second. Canada threatened right off the bat again here in the bottom of the second with the first 3 hitters reaching the bases. A sac fly by Elise Berger, and now Reese Veloce is trying to cash her under him, but that's going to be an infield fly. That means batters out automatically if fair. The runners advance at their own risk, but there's obviously nowhere for the runners to go on that pop-up. Good job by Elise Berger getting herself out of this jam she put herself into. That makes 2 outs, so now the runners will be going on anything that's hit.
Zoe Hicks.
I like the fact that Berger caught that as well. I don't like teams and coaches that say, pitchers, get out of the way on pop-ups. You're not prepared to catch those. And more fall in you'd ever believe. Ground ball, maybe through the hole. No, it's snagged by first base, and she takes it herself. The pitcher was there for the throw, but well, Kayla Underwood did it safely and trotted over and stepped on the base herself. Canada leaves runners on base again, 2 this time, but they did manage to plate 1 run on 2 hits.
Done a great job during the tournament and will continue to.
That run was scored on a sacrifice fly by Elise Berger. That scored the runner from third when the bases were loaded and nobody out. But Reese Veloce popped out and Zoe Hicks just grounded out to the first baseman. So the games here are, we're going to check out the weather forecast.
A safe field conditions, and to give our fans the most enjoyable experience here at Baseball Center tomorrow. Game is being moved to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not at 7:30 tomorrow night. It's going to be moved to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So don't forget to mark it down and join us tomorrow for more exciting baseball action from the Women's Baseball Friendship Series, Canada versus the U.S.
Okay, important announcement. If you're watching this from Thunder Bay or nearby and you're planning to come to tomorrow's game, now you got some daylight in the drive home because of the weather forecast. Instead of the 7:30 scheduled start, Game 4 of this 5-game Friendship Series tomorrow, Sunday, that'll be the 31st of July. That game has now been moved to 3 o'clock. Mark that down. It's no longer 7:30 Sunday night. That'll be played tomorrow here at 3 p.m. first pitch. We'll mention that a couple times in the game for the locals, or from those of you far away, just want to come see exciting women's baseball. Why not? It's the weekend. You're not working. Go halfway tonight, find a hotel in Minneapolis some way, make the rest of the drive tomorrow morning. Enjoy a Tim Hortons donut when you arrive. Have some maple syrup on your salmon for dinner. Use some loonies and toonies to pay for it. Look around for a bear or a moose. You'll probably see one of the two, and enjoy some time in Canada. And not to mention the trees in the mountains. Ball 1 from Mena Florio. First starting pitcher for Canada today. Ali Schroeder started for Canada on day 1. Had a good outing. yesterday was Rain Pajam. She threw well as well. Both pitchers suffered a bit from some errors behind them. The Americans got the early lead on day one, then ran away with innings of 5 and 4 runs towards the end. They scored early yesterday. Pajam gave up 7 runs, but only 3 of them were earned, and the relief corps didn't allow anything. That was Tess Sawkins who came in to close out yesterday. Florio hiding the ball well with a closed stance, throws that sinker, and that one was timed well, but it's stabbed! What a play by Maddie Willen, Canada's second baseman, laying out like Robbie Alomar. She literally was parallel to the ground. And Elena Martinez, in her first at-bat for the USA, the youngster, hit a beautiful line drive. Looked definitely like a single, but the diving young Maddie Willen stole a base hit away from her. Wow, what a play. Long fly ball, that's going to hook foul. Volk won't have time to get to it. It lands inside the stadium, but as mentioned, there is a ton of space between the two lines and the fence that contains the ballpark. And that's Menafloria's style. She likes to let the defense do the work. Canada, knock on wood, has not made an error today and seem to have just gotten off to a start that they are capable of. The first 2 days, I would have trouble explaining it. They were just not the team that they are defensively. Maybe the jitters, a lot of young players, big time crowd here. They haven't played a game that means anything in 3 years. They're playing for Ashley Stevenson, who will be the greatest player they ever could imagine as their manager and has high expectations. And they want to try to meet her, the bar that she set. They had a lot of media interviews yesterday. It was Friday night. And maybe all those things were just darn brand new. Even though the distances are the same, the baseball's the same diameter, the bats are the same ones they brought here. It's a different game when you have those conditions around you. So looks today so far like they've got those shakes and cobwebs out of them. And they're ahead of the mighty Americans, who have hammered balls all over Thunder Bay the first 2 days here. They scored 23 runs in the first 2 games of this series, winning both and only allowing a total of 3. Canada has scored 4 already in this game, 3 in the bottom of the first, 1 in the bottom of 2, matching up with the Americans' 1 run in the top of the first. It's 4-1 here, top of 3. Line shot, foul down the left field line, only about 5 feet foul. That's about 2 meters for you Americans. And would have been a sure double, no question. Forecast today was for 31 degrees. Now, for our friends south of the border, that doesn't mean bring your parkas, because I'm talking Celsius there. 31 degrees Celsius. Well, what you do basically to get Fahrenheit is times it by 2 and add 32 and you'll be close. So, of course, 31 times 2 is 62, add 32. And that equates to about 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So don't bring your parka, bring your bathing suit. There's a chilly wind here though, and then when the clouds get covered, it's not close to that temperature. It's more along the lines of about 75 right now. Beautiful day for baseball. Ground ball again pulled to third base. This is going to be a tough play. Canada's third baseman throws it, but the runner is safe. It scoots by the first baseman. Zoe Hicks threw it. It looked like it might have been catchable. They may give the air to Canada's first baseman, Elise Berger, and the throw also got by her. She didn't step off the base too. I think she was trying to really get that out if she possibly could snag it while the foot was on base. So there'll be an error to somebody. To tell you the truth, I don't know if the throw would have gotten the runner out. So this is a tough scoring play. We'll see what they give on that. I'm not going to write that down. It could have been an error to the third baseman, an error to the first baseman, but the scorer may have decided she was going to beat it out anyway because it was hit to the far left side. We have a ruling on that. Was that a hit or an error? Do you have that, Lizzie? What does the official scorer give it? Oh, a hit and an error to get the runner to second. Listen to you. Lizzie, you're on fire. Yes, the error's on the board. She's never wrong. That's why I turned to my right. And then we got the backup information guru, Adam Morissette, next to her. We will not steer you wrong today, you great listeners out there, with those two around. So yes, it was an error on the batted ball, or excuse me, the overthrow, and it was a hit. At least I'm putting down a hit for Hugo because I really am confident she was going to beat that out. She goes to second, though, on the errant throw, so it's either going to be to the third baseman or first. Allow me to talk as I score here. And at the plate now, the veteran, Kayla Underwood. Run in scoring position at second base. She lines a shot, but it's well foul. Bounces off the fence, off the tarp, almost comes back into play. Falk is going to go get it. And Amy Johnson says, get back to your position. I'm on the bench right now. The Saskatchewan lone member from Saskatchewan on this Canadian team. Hustles out to grab that. Falk returns, probably plays a bit more of a pull given that swing by Underwood. Runner at second here for the Americans. One out in the top of the third inning. They are down 4-1 to Canada. Another shot to that left side. This time, oh, boy, was that close. But the third base umpire, Tasha Hands, was right there, and she called it foul. On that play there, I don't think the ball had hit the ground before the base. It may have gone over the base, literally, and therefore you would think fair ball. But because it touched the ground for the first time, you judge where it landed, and it landed on the foul side of the white chalk. If it was a ground ball and that was the second hop, it would have been a fair ball because it certainly was inside the base on the way by, 90 feet from home plate. Underwood this time has to go to the opposite side. She'll advance the runner. Does a good job with the outside pitch, but it's fielded by Elise Berger, and she takes the out and trades 90 feet to Alex Hugo, the speedster for the Americans. This is a situation where the young catcher for Canada really has to show that she knows what she's doing back there. 2 outs and a runner on third. You want to leave her there. So what you don't want to happen is a wild pitch or a passed ball. So if it's in the dirt and you want to be able to call a curveball, that's what Menaflorio is the master of, a kind of a sinker, slider, curve, call it what you want. It drops a lot. But don't be shy. Call those pitches and get ready to block. That was a low one. It's hit deep to center field. Carr's going to have to go deep. And it's off her glove. It's, sorry, Claire Eccles, the center fielder. Carr was there last night. Eccles didn't read it well. The ball, remember, is hit straight at you when you're the center fielder, and it's, you know it's coming your way, but you don't have a read on the depth. Of course, the right fielder and left fielder were screaming deep, deep. Once she heard them, she took off. The ball got into her glove, but it was dropped. I'm sure they're going to give that a triple. It was a very tough catch. Eccles is known to catch just about everything during her career with the national team, certainly as a center fielder for the UBC softball team. Once in a while, it comes at you and you just can't read it. You don't know how far it was hit. You just know its direction. You don't know how much power was behind it. So that scores a run. Puts the Americans 50% behind. It's 4-2 now. Oh, and would Eccles love to make a diving catch here and not let this runner from third score and show Menaflorio that she's got her back. Did the best she can, of course. That's all you can ask of anybody. But I know she feels worse than anyone right now for that run scoring. She expects herself to catch everything like a George Springer. That ball goes to the screen, but there'll be no advance because it went off the shoulder of the cleanup hitter, Kelsey Whitmore. So that makes it runners at the corners for the USA with 2 out. This could turn into the key point of the game. If Canada was able to stretch this out and win the game, and well, listen, we're not even halfway through, but if they were, they might look back to this inning, and if Menaflorio can make Kylie Lars hit into it out or strike out perhaps, and leaving these 2 runners stranded, not tying the game, maybe go down in memory as the key point of the game. This is a big situation. Florio leads off with that sinker, but what she'll do, sometimes she'll throw it high and then it'll drop into the top of the zone. Most times she'll throw it kind of thigh high, hope the hitters chase it, and it drops to their shins, and they really have a hard time, and if they do contact it, they hit a ground ball. Infielders do the work if you're Menaflorio. Good idea to throw to first. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Americans run. Whitmore was hit by a pitch, but she does have wheels. She plays center field when she's not pitching. That would eliminate the force out at second. She's got an aggressive lead. Pitchers don't usually throw twice, and there she goes. And they throw it to second base, but the runner from third tries not to do the double steal, thankfully for the Canadians. Now, great base running there, great call by the coach for the Americans over at third base. And here's a pop-up. It's in the shallow right. 3 players chasing. It drops fair. What a placement. It's hitting them where they ain't. And the Americans scored 2 to tie up the game on a single to right field. That was, you couldn't have thrown it any better. 3 players formed a triangle around it, but not one was able to get there. It was hit about 50 feet past the first base bag. It landed about 10 feet inside the right field line. And that RBI single scores 2 runs. And talking about remembering key hits, that may be a key hit if the Americans wind up victorious. That's what Yogi said, hit them where they ain't. Most of the hits that have led to runs today have been line drives, but that one was the opposite. Off the bat, you think, okay, the inning's over, but not that time. The wind also is blowing all over the place. I've seen the flags moving from right field to home plate. I've also seen them going from the right field foul pole to the left field foul pole, so you don't know. Another ground ball induced by Florio. This should end the inning. And it does. Hicks to Jelena at first. But the Americans tie it up. It's 4-4. Canada still has 5 at-bats. They'll come to the plate now in the bottom of the 3rd inning. But don't ever expect these guys to go away. They are incredible hitters. They're incredibly aggressive. And whether there's 1 out, no outs, 2 outs, they're scrappy. And I don't know, I just had a bit of a fear. That's why I thought that moment was so key. Nana Flory did a good job. She got a pop-up. That's something you'd want the pitcher to do in that situation, but the pop-up dropped into shallow right field, right near the baseline. Looks like the Americans might have a new pitcher. Is that still Berger?
No.
In for the Americans is the southpaw. That's number 12. A lot of these players have long hair, even though they go with a ponytail, it covers their number, so it takes me a little bit to get a grip on it. But that is number 12. Her name is Nikki Eckert. So Elise Berger goes in the books with 4 runs scored against her. One of those may have been unearned. She allowed 6 hits in her 2 innings. Struck out 1. And Eckert takes over on the bump. Looks like she's got a mix of pitches. An athletic looking pitcher, long arms.
For Team USA, number 12, Nikki Eckert.
She'll start off with arguably Canada's hottest hitter in this friendship series. Maddie Willen has had 5 plate appearances and she has ripped 3 line drive singles. The last one was an RBI. It knocked in Canada's 3rd run in the 1st inning. She pulled 1 in the 1st game, lined 1 to center in the 2nd game, and went right back to center field again this game with a line drive single. RBI. Outside corner not called by plate umpire Kevin Ireland, makes the count 1-1. Canada, they responded to a run scored by the American in the 1st by plating 3. Let's see if they can react to the 3 runs the Americans scored in the top half of this inning. Line drive, will it get to left field? It will, just under the glove of a diving 3rd baseman, Colleen Liners, and Maddie Willen, is now batting .667, an impressive batting average. But that's what you get when you go 4 for 6. Call it a small sample size, but we'll take it. And she's hit the ball hard all 4 times on those hits. Impressive at-bats from the Albertan. Leadoff hitter on for Canada, Emma Carr, another speedster. Looked like she was going to drop a sack bunt. Not a bad idea. She's a left-hander, and she is good at bunting because she can run. That's part of her arsenal. But at the same time, that may have surprised Kylie Launders at third the first time, but now you see her playing inside third base, so Carr may go to swinging away here. She has hitting power. There's a line drive down the left field line, but it's going to sail foul. Wind pushes it, and it slices off a left-hander's bat when they go to the opposite side like that, like a golfer. So Carr has a 1-2 count. Her job now, put the ball in play. Let's get the runner into scoring position. It's going to be some kind of a slow pitch. You never know. They may run Maddie Willen here. She does not go. Carr foul takes it. And the catcher, Anna Kimbrell, was not able to snag it because the bottom of Carr's bat knocked it down, and it just went off the bottom of her glove, but she wasn't able to catch it. That would have been strike three had the catcher retrieved it in the air. Even if she juggles it, it's still an out. Curveball hit on the ground. It's a slow one. Looks like they're going to get the lead runner, but not Carr. Well, maybe yes, Carr. Umpire calls her out on a bang-bang play at first base. The ball was hit slowly, a roller to second base, and therefore you wouldn't think they would have turned to there, but the Americans made a very quick transition at second, nailing Carr with a very hard throw by Alex Hugo.
Center fielder Claire Eccles.
So the Americans cleared the bases. And Claire Eccles, who grounded out her first time up, is at the plate. She's another speedster, a center fielder. So if she can get on, especially with two outs, I wouldn't be surprised to see her take off for second and get into scoring, but let's go one step at a time and get her on base. High fastball, boy. That was pretty quick. That was up there at least 75 miles an hour. I don't have a radar gun, but I've done this for a while, so I'm going to be close if I tell you. Inside with that fastball. This is Nikki Eckert, who allowed a single by Maddie Willen to lead off her first inning here of the game. Emma Carr grounded into a double play, a slick double play. Nice changeup. Eckert slowed her arm a bit there, so experienced hitters may have been able to pick that up, but she threw a changeup, and it was a good one. Fastball outside. That'll be strike three, and the inning over. She faces the minimum, even though allowing a hit. Canada scores none on just one hit. Bases are empty, so nobody was left on, and we are even after three complete innings of a 7-inning game. We go by WBSC rules here and formats. All 5 games will be 7 innings. They flip the home team each game, so this is game 3. Canada will be the home in games 1, 3, and 5. The Americans will take the third base dugout tomorrow afternoon in game 4. Now you say, wait a minute, Tom, we play at 7:30. No, we don't. Tomorrow's game, game 4 of this series, Sunday, July 31st, has been changed to 3 o'clock. The weather looks like we're going to get rain late in the day tomorrow, so they're going to... Now the radar here at Lake Superior and Thunder Bay, it can trick you. All the meteorologists can do is make their best guess, but we're going to go with the odds. And both teams have agreed to move up tomorrow's game time, so it will not be starting at 7:30 p.m. It'll be here at Baseball Central, the same diamond, but it's going to be first pitch at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Sunday. Don't forget that. We'd hate to see it come in here at 7:30 and find an empty parking lot and nothing but monster-sized mosquitoes. Man, are they big in Thunder Bay. They got shadows, I'll tell you. And they bite hard. They're not nice. And they don't discriminate. It's not like they're just biting the Americans. They're biting us Canadians just as much.
Team USA, top of the fourth. It's going to be their second batter to be things up winning 10. Center fielder, Malaika Underwood.
This is the closest game so far of the 3. The Americans took both games handily in the first 2 games of the 5-game friendship series. But it's 3-3 now heading into the 4th. And this is more the kind of game you would expect these 2 teams to play. Again, Canada seemed to have the jitters in the early parts of the first 2 games, more errors behind their good pitching outings by Schroeder and Pajam. Allowed some runs across the plate early, and Canada just couldn't catch up. Today, they're playing excellent defense. They've had 1 error that did happen in an inning where the Americans scored 2. But they'll see if they can overcome that. having made 4 in each of those first 2 games. It just wasn't characteristic. If you know these girls, how they can play, you would have been surprised. But they seem to have it together today. And this is what the number 3 and 4 ranked teams in the world should be doing, playing close games. For the Americans, mighty swing and a miss by Olivia Pichardo. Pichardo grounded out the second at the first time. She pulls her head out a bit when that upper body, she swings very hard, and the hitter sometimes can fall into a trap of, you want to let your trunk and that area of the body lead the power into the ball, but don't let your head follow it out to the where the ball is going to be hit. Try to watch that ball all the way into the bat, and the head and the shoulder, the right shoulder in this case, will catch up to the hips on the follow through. Count is 2-2 on Pichardo. She takes the pitch, bringing Florio to a 3-2 count. Florio is an Iron Mike. She will not have a pitch count today. She'll be removed when manager Ashley Stevenson feels the Americans need another look. She has a rubber arm. She takes the ball anytime, any game. Line drive to center field. Eccles has a beat on that one. Right into her glove. Beautiful. Florio gets out of that 3-2 count with a line drive to center field.
The catcher, Anna Kimbrell.
Typical Mena Florio game today. Has not had a strikeout yet. She's got her team in a situation where they're tied with the USA, and she lets her defense do her work. Her strongest pitch is a sinker. Quirky grip. Down it goes and induces ground balls just like that one. Hicks throws it over to Elise Berger for the second out of the inning. Florio threw 6 pitches to Pichardo, just 1
Right fielder,
to Anna Kimbrell.
Elena Martinez.
Bringing to the plate the youngster, the youngest member of the American team, Elena Martinez. She scorched a line drive in her first at bat of the tournament today. First at bat of today, I should say. And everyone in the ballpark thought base hit to center until Maddie Willen decided to go Robbie Alomar and lay out flat parallel to the ground, snagging the ball with her left hand. About 2 feet above ground. It was a beautiful picture. She was literally parallel to the dirt. She laid out perfectly. Should be a highlight on TSN and Sportsnet tonight. Did you guys hear that? Get that film. They'll be watching. They're covering this series. This is an honor. What an honor for Thunder Bay to get this hosting opportunity. Any city in Canada would love to have this go. Here we go. Could be the end of the inning. 10 pitches. And another grounder, 5-3. That means Hicks to Elise Berger. The Americans go down. No runs, no hits. She faced the minimum. Mena Florio gets her team into the bottom of the 4th.
Very good ball players today. Went away on a college scholarship. Schroeder McEachran's here with his mom, Leslie, and father, Rick. Leslie just retired from the city, so enjoy your retirement, Leslie. And welcome back, Carter. He's now a chiropractor in Thunder Bay, so congratulations.
Product of East End Little League. For Team USA in the top of the 4th, they got no runs, no hits, or no errors. Nobody was left on base.
Tomorrow's game again rescheduled to 3 o'clock, and Monday's game is at 1 o'clock here at Baseball Central. Hope you're able to make it out. Very good brand of ball the ladies are putting on, so we really appreciate the quality of baseball from both teams. Thank you very much.
Ellie Jesperson will lead off for the Canadians here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Canada's at the top of their order. Ellie has led off all 3 games with a base hit so far for Canada. She participated in the showcase that 40 players were invited to last summer in Trois-Rivières. She joined the national team program in 2019, where she helped Canada win a bronze at the Copabi Women's Pan Am Championship. She was a former participant in the MLB's Breakthrough Series in 2019. She's represented Alberta, her province, at 5 national championships already. That was her career highlight back to the Team Canada outing in 2019. She started playing baseball at the age of 5. She currently attends Western Washington University, where she plays on the softball team. And other sports for this busy kid: basketball, badminton, track and cross country. What else would you expect? Canadians keep busy. That's how they stay warm. Jesperson has reached base twice, what a lead fitter should do, and scored both times. She scored 2 of Canada's 4 runs today. She had scored a run earlier in the tournament as well. Fly ball to shallow left. The left fielder backed up, and now she's charging in, but the shortstop for the USA, Jade Gortares, takes that like a can of corn. The Americans are very happy to see Jesperson retreating to her dugout, because she reached base and scored on her first 2 at-bats this game.
2 of the websites for Baseball Canada and the Baseball USA. So we thank you very much. And again, Bitenhouse supplies the fastest, most reliable Thunder Bay fiber in Thunder Bay and in the world.
If all comes to the plate, she hammered a double her first time up and scored an infield single on her second at-bat, 2 for 2 today. She was 1 for 5 coming into the game with a couple of stolen bases. Ground ball hardly hit, but right at the shortstop. Tough to get Gortares not to make an error. She did throw 1 hopper, but it was scooped by the veteran at first base. That's Malaika Underwood. She's been around 11-time record setter for the U.S. program. Volk, a multi-sport athlete like Jesperson, holds an unusual standing. She is the second, not the first, the second woman to ever play for Team Canada in a World Cup in women's baseball as well as women's softball. The first was Dr. Rebecca Hartley. And yes, a former player is a doctor. These aren't all jocks here getting into, basic jobs. Another doctor happens to be Canadian starting pitcher today, Mena Floria. She just received her doctorate in chiropractic services. Congratulations to Mena for that academic accomplishment, and congratulations on your first 4 innings today, and we hope you're going out for the 5th. Here's a tough ground ball. This may be a tough play for the catcher to make. Throw to first base on Daphne Jelena is out, and the Americans get a quick inning themselves. Volk grounding out to short on the 6-3, and Jelena hitting a slow roller to first base. That's Daphne Jelena with a 3-hitter. And the Americans get a 1-2-3 inning. Canadians have nobody left on base. We enter the top of the 5th. The score knotted. 4-4.
After 4, it's Canada 4, USA 4.
Please support our sponsors: T-Baytel, Thunder Bay Community Economic Development Commission, Equipment World Inc., Skyway Canada Limited, Boston Pizza, and Lucci's Bigadelli, and the Thunder Bay Senior Baseball Association. Want to see some good baseball? Come out to watch the games of the Thunder Bay Senior Baseball Association.
No one's coming out to the mound yet for Canada. We're hoping to see Florio return. She's having a great game.
Sunday to Thursday.
And Canada is going to change pitchers. They are going to go to, or no, let's see here.
20.
Oh, that's Julia Koenig-Schauffer. This will be her first outing. Another youngster for Canada, so they got to get her some innings. Mena Florio, hats off to you. 4 runs did cross the plate, but you kept your team in the game. You only allowed 5 hits the whole 4 innings, and were the victim of a couple of runs scored on air by the Americans. So thanks for that effort, and you can count on seeing her back before the end of the Friendship Series. And taking the mound now for Canada is a 16-year-old. Canada's youngest player. That's Julia Koenig chauffeur. Hails from Southern Ontario, returned back to Nova Scotia with her family, and she's living there now. Plays for her dad, Mike, and the Nova Scotia women's program. Mike's got a hitting facility out there. I guess you can do infielding and whatnot as well, which in that climate, you need that to train for baseball, to play at this level. And there'll be more coming. Holly Lapierre and others have put together a great program out there. And speaking of great programs and great players, we have a guest to the booth. With us now is the starter from day one, Ali Schroeder. You want to stand or sit?
Stand.
Yeah, all right. Well, you've been standing a long time. You've been pitching and playing and hitting and everything else. Ali Schroeder is quite a story. She has played for Canada. Well, how about you? And I'm not trying to get you to brag, but tell us, how many years have you been with this program? Because you started young, and I believe the Americans saw you for the first time 4 years ago in what's called the bronze medal game, and they were the hosts of the tournament. And what's a 16-year-old doing coming on the field? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be my 5th year with the national team, and my first year playing against the USA would have been in 2018 at the World Cup in Florida. I actually got the opportunity to pitch against them in round robin play before we went into the bronze medal game, which was pretty exciting and really benefited me to be able to see the hitters and the way they play ahead of time going into the big game. But in terms of coming in the bronze medal game, I was super stoked to get that opportunity and be given it as such a young player. I think there was nerves for sure, but a lot of adrenaline. So to be given that opportunity and then just say, hey, go at it, was pretty exciting for me, and I'm glad that we were able to bring home the bronze in 2018.
Well, we're going to get back to your story, but you said something I want to ask you about. You mentioned nerves. As a player, now you're 20 plus years old now, you've been with the program 5 years, but that probably seems like yesterday because of the gap with COVID. I mean, not yesterday in the sense of it wasn't 4 years ago, but yesterday in the sense of that was sort of the last meaningful baseball that we played. Pop-up is dropped. Oh, that sun got into the eyes again of our first baseman, and Alex Seago takes advantage of it and not only safe at first, but winds up at second base. I'm not sure that sometimes they'll give that batter a hit on that if the sun's in the eyes or the lights are in the eyes, but I think they'll go with an error on that one to the Canadian first. It's a hit? Okay. Oh, they gave it an error. Okay. That was Elise Berger trying to field that, but you could tell she was battling. And Hugo is now the go-ahead run on second base with nobody out. With the Americans bunt with their two-hitter, Malaika Underwood. That's what two hitters do sometimes. She's swinging away at least now. Ali, you were on the mound in the first game, and you pitched well. You had a good outing. I know that 6 runs or so came in while you were out there, but your defense wasn't what you're accustomed to on Team Canada. And you're not a pitcher who will deflect blame to anybody but yourself, because I know what you're all about. Grounder to second. That'll move the runner to third, so it's a sacrifice, but a swinging bunt in a way. And Underwood, the veteran, that's all she wanted to do was pull the ball to get the runner to third base with 1 out. But back to the question. What do you think led to those gaffes in the first couple innings of both games? Was it nerves, Ali? We've got 16, 17, 18. We got about half the players under 20 years old. So to think about yourself back then, and could you put yourself in there, Susan? Do you think that's what happened these first 2 games?
I absolutely could, and for this being the first time in international competition for a lot of our players, and at that, a lot of our infield, I think it's hard as a pitcher to just have those areas behind you and not have a solid defense. But at the same time, as one of the leaders on the team, we need to recognize that this is a developing program and it's a developmental year. So just having patience with that and focusing on what I can do for the team as opposed to the long-term outcome was what I was able to focus on.
Now there was Canada's second error of the game. She really battled the sun. Tough play for anybody. And she has experience over there, but not experience with a thunder-based sun at this time of day. So that was very well spoken because, of course, the defense helps you way more than they hurt you. But in the first 2 games early on, and then this game now, there's an example where the go-ahead run scored on an error for the Americans. But Canada still has 3 at-bats, so we'll see what we can do to answer that. Ali, in that first game, after all this time off, and yes, you've been training, and yes, you've been at the National Championship last week and training with Team Canada, but to take the ball in the very first game of the tournament, or in the Friendship Series. And also, I'm going to add in a bit of pressure or very difficult feelings, given that we honored your teammate, Amanda Ase, before that very game, and then suddenly you had to go out and pitch. What were your emotions like going into that game?
I think that's a situation where it's more than baseball, and being able to have that ball for game one and then not only have to take the mound after our tribute to Amanda was really special to me, and it was really special to my catcher Ella as well. So to be in that situation was very emotional, and it was hard to take the mound after that, but I mean, Amanda was the ultimate gamer, so we know that she wants us to go out there and just give it hell, right? So to be able to honor that and then take game one and just really give it to him was really special for us.
You don't speak like a 20-year-old. Those are great words, and that's exactly, you know that she would want you guys to, you know, there's never any closure to something of that nature. But she would want you to find a way to get out of bed in the morning, put one foot in front of the other, and honor the uniform. You guys call her your 10th player in your lineup, don't you?
Yeah.
You have a patch on your sleeve. What did she bring to you? What did you get, and what will you carry forward regarding her legacy? I
mean, Amanda was one of my best friends, and to think about my career with the women's national team, she coached me my first experience in Cuba at the identification camp, and then to take the field with her and share the bronze medal game with her in 2018 was something that was super special to me. But in terms of a whole team dynamic, Amanda led us all, and not just on the field but off the field. She really showed us what perseverance and dedication was to the game and women's sports, and I think that's something that we're all going to carry with us.
Well, and that will carry on forever, because I have a feeling with your young start and the way you play the game, a long time from now, hopefully, when you stop playing, I can see you giving back too, because you've got a lot to give back already, and you're only still a young player. How did you learn to throw so hard? Let's get that straight. What your arm is a cannon. I mean, compared to most arms anywhere.
I think from a young age, I knew that I liked to be a power pitcher.
Eccles will have to back up a bit, but the inning is over. And the ground ball to short that was not fielded correctly by Jesperson, disabling her to make an attempt at first base, really didn't cause any harm. The base runner got the third, the batter got the first, and then Eccles closes the inning out with just one run scored. And so Canada trails 5-4 as we head into the bottom of the fifth. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but we want to keep up with the play. Amanda would have wanted me to make sure we stick to the game first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just knew from the time I was really young that I wanted to be a power pitcher. And I think that being crafty on the mound is something that works for a lot of people, especially in women's baseball. But I was always like, I'm going to blow the baseball by you, and you're not going to touch it. And that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to throw every pitch hard, too. Not just my fastball, but have a hard off speed that moved and was also fast. So it was just something I was dedicated to from a young age. And really committed to just keeping my velocity on the mound and then climbing the ladder with it as well.
Looks like you're getting waved by the dugout. They may have a use for
you
right now.
They don't need me. They don't need me.
Sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Ashley Stevenson, and that was my next question. Talk about, it's hard to have a sentence where you mention Amanda Asing and you don't mention Ashley Stevenson, because they're cut from the same cloth. They're identical in so many ways. She's not your teammate anymore. She's the manager, at least for this tournament. Of course, head coach Aaron Mayette is home with some personal medical situations in his family. And Ashley steps in without any trouble to the manager's job. How we found her, now you've got a different relationship, because she's not your roomie, she's the head coach.
Yeah, there's nobody better for the job than Ash. And once again, I was very fortunate to share the field with her before she stepped into this role. So I always respected her on the field as a player and as somebody that was a role model to me as well. So her in this coaching role, I just look up to her even more and respect her and the experience that she has behind her, and really respect the way that she's leading this team in her first year.
How's your relationship with the Americans? Are you guys still sort of friendly but fierce rivals and respect each other? Sum it up for me. How do you guys treat each other?
It's a rivalry for sure, and I think that's in any sport. There's a Canada-US game and you're going to go at it. But I think in terms of growing women's baseball, which is what this year is all about without having a World Cup, it's important for us to be competitive and obviously honor the rivalry, but we're also just trying to grow our game collectively and bring more attention to the sport as a whole.
I hear you, and that's why they call it a friendship series. I mean, nobody wants, I mean, this game is just a coin toss right now, and both teams really want to win, there's no doubt. But after the game, they'll kind of kick back and and maybe get to know each of you guys a bit better, just to enhance the respect between each other. I'm going to ask you one more question. You started young. What would your message be? You are wearing the uniform of Canada. Now, everyone that signs up for baseball doesn't have the goal of playing for the Toronto Blue Jays or Team Canada, but you've made it all the way here. What would you say to young girls who might be tuned in right now, who are thinking about, is baseball right for me?
Honestly, I would just let them know that nothing's impossible. You have to have a hard hat on for sure, because you're going to face some things that aren't going to be as pleasant. But if you want to play baseball at an international level, anybody can do it if you get the work ethic to do it. So just stick to it and keep grinding.
Even if they have to play with boys when they're young?
Even if they have to play with boys. That's probably part of the process, but it's part of it, and you just have to honor that.
I've found playing with boys in the teens, at least in my observations, sometimes a little tougher, because when they're young, if you can help the team, they don't care about your gender. They just want you to be a good hitter.
And that's the experience that I had. It was actually quite pleasant, and I didn't face too much compared to what other girls go through, but if you grind and put your head down and have that work ethic, nobody's going to look at you twice as a girl.
We are so honored and happy to have you here. We're going to try to get a player in the next 2 games. You've set a high bar for the rest of that team, so maybe none of them want to come see us. But seriously, it's great to see you. I know you've been my daughter's roommate once or twice on the road, and I know she enjoys your friendship and company, and I'm sure that'll be similar down the road as well. So good luck to you in the rest of the Friendship Series, and great to have you up here.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
They're still selling for another inning or so, and that'll be it.
Thanks, Adam.
2 quick outs for the Canadians, 4-3 and 6-3, as the left-hander, Nikki Eckert, is putting on a show on the mound today. She's got 5 batters faced, 5 batters retired. Zoe Hicks with a strong, aggressive cut for Canada. Maddie Willen on deck, 2 for 2 today, so if Hicks can get on, maybe something could happen towards tying the game up. She struck out once and grounded the first or second time up. Curveball on the inside corner, but just a bit inside, as they would say. Making the count 2 balls on a strike. Foul back to the screen, makes the count 2-2. Adam Morris, you heard that. Maybe we should take the uniform off Allie and make her the assistant broadcaster here. Spoke pretty well.
Yeah, very well.
Pretty mature for a young player.
I don't know if you would have got that out of her when she was 16. 4 years later,
She's all growed up. As Zoe Hicks fouls one off to stay alive here. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. Canada trails now. They've been leading the Americans until they tied it and then took the lead in the top half of this inning. Canada scored 1 in the top of the first. Or excuse me, the Americans scored the first run. And then Canada countered with 3. Canada added 1 in the bottom of the 2nd to make it 4-1. The Americans tied it up with 3 in the 3rd. Zeros for both teams in the 4th, and the Americans 1 here in the 5th. And the 5th inning ends with a taken 3rd strike thrown to Zoe Hicks. Maddie Willen, the hot hitter for Canada, will lead off the bottom of the 6th for Canada. But in the meantime, the Americans get a 1-2-3 inning. Great job again by Nikki Eckert, the 19-year-old.
Everybody over tomorrow and Monday to Festival Italiano.
We'll see if she comes out for another inning. Why wouldn't she? Unless they're on a pitch count and want to get to certain pitchers for other reasons.
For the out-of-town guests, great Italian food and entertainment.
Menafloria returns to the mound for Canada. Excuse me. Menafloria threw a great game for Canada, and returning to the mound is Julia Konigshofer, who got in a bit of trouble last inning, more due to a couple of errors than her own doing. There was a couple of errors by the Canadian defense that led to America taking a 1-run lead. In the meantime, she did induce a ground ball to second that was out, a fly to center, and a line out to center. So she comes back to the mound. She's going to face the bottom 3 of the American order: Olivia Pichardo, the center fielder, followed by Anna Kimbrell and Elena Martinez. Pichardo grounded to second her first time up and lined out to center field. Charter yanks one down the first baseline. Floria's arm just goes numb. She just keeps pitching. She's a little slower by this time of the game based on her pulling the ball, also grounding out the second. You might want to see the outfielder shift to the right a bit. Florio counters that by following your catcher's target and trying to throw to the outside part of the plate. You want hitters that are pull hitters to try to pull the outside pitches. Lefties will all the time ground out to second if they make that mistake. Inside this time, ball 4. Leadoff hitter gets on.
Catcher, Anna Kimbrough.
Koenigshofer will attempt to make Kimbrell do what she did the first 2 times up, which was ground out to third base, because this time, as she grounds to third, Canada might turn a double play and eliminate the base on balls that was just given up to lead off here, the top of the 6th inning. The last thing Canada wants is to see the USA get an insurance run. 1 run is something. Getting 2 is a whole different story. Takes the sac bunt out of the equation, the fly ball with a runner on third, pushing runners over with a sacrifice ground ball to the opposite side of the field, things like that. 2 runs you got to just hit and hit and hit. Inside fastball fouled back. Hit the bat just above the hands. It wouldn't have gone far had she squared it up and hit it straight. Makes the count 1-1. Kimbrell was 1 for 4 coming into tonight's game with an RBI in the first 2 games. That ball is at the corner of the fence and too far to reach. Elise Berger made a good play to get to the fence. That's a long way, but the ball was just about 6 feet over. No way to catch that one. Good to see Reese Veloce taking a run over there as well. Catcher wants to catch everything they can. They love snagging those. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Anna Kimbrell. Koenigshofer hoping to induce a ground ball, maybe turn 2, at least get the forced runner. There goes the runner. Line ball, line shot to right field. In and then back goes Emma Carr. Good recovery. Her route was more in than over, and then she suddenly made a right-hand turn and easily camped under it to make a throw to first, actually, to the runner who was advancing, but she got back in
Elena
time.
Martinez.
So a line out to right field. Emma Carr doesn't miss many. We've got a pinch hitter here for Elena Martinez. That's going to be number 18 for the USA, Jillian Albayati.
Inside, 18 for 3.
It's a big out for Emma Carr in right field.
In place of
Made the runner go back to first, so
number 18,
it still
Jillian
takes 2 hits to score her,
Albayati.
but Canada is now aware that Kimbrell, even though she's a catcher, she will run on you. She got a good jump on that pitch had it not been hit. She would have had the base stolen. And now Florio is going to make sure she pays attention to her and try to get her thinking that we might pick her off. It's always good for a pitcher to throw a couple times in a row to first base. The Americans stole last time after we threw once over because it's so rare. So sometimes, and there she goes, yeah. Pitchers cannot fall into habits. Those are taken advantage of by great, not just great players, but great thinkers like the Americans. It's rare that a pitcher will throw over twice so you can get an extra strong jump, just as Pichardo did right there, and she stole second base. And now she's in scoring position for the pinch hitter, Jillian Albayati. Albayati had action in both the first 2 games. Inside strike. Great pitch by Koenigshofer there. And she made contact with that. It wasn't going out of the infield, that's for sure. Count is 1-1. Line drive to right field. This is going to score another run for the Americans, giving them a 2-run lead. There is the insurance policy they were hoping for. What a great pinch hit by Jillian Albayati. Excuse me.
Second baseman, Alex Hugo.
They keep coming at you. You put up a 0 on your offensive scoreboard, and They're not going to have any mercy for her. They're just going to build their lead. Canada has scored 4 runs today, 3 in the first, 1 in the second, but not a run since then. So they've had 3 zeros in a row, and you can't sit on a lead facing the US of A. Through the legs of the Canadian shortstop, Ellie Jesperson, is a hard ground ball. That puts runners on first and second for the Americans. If she was a goalie, they would say that's in the 5 hole. It's always easier if you're an infield to
Malaika Underwood.
have your glove touching the ground. The back of your glove should come home red like the clay, and always be prepared to come up to a ground ball because you can't predict the last hop. If you hold your glove at your knees or down your shins a little bit, the ball can get under it if it happens to stay down. Shuffle to the ball, square up to the ball so you've got your body to back it up, and get your glove on the ground and come up to it. If you think about hockey saves on the replays, and we see a lot of those, they're usually the great saves. The goalie is having the glove down and it's coming up, and it makes it look incredible. They rarely make saves with their glove out to the side going down. They usually make the great ones with their side going up. Same thing in baseball. Visit to the mound by the young catcher, Reese Veloci, showing some poise here. Wants to take care of her pitcher. Make sure she says, hey, don't worry about that. We can get out of this. A couple of ground balls. Koenig Schofer is throwing well. She's been the victim of 3 errors since she came into the game. At the plate now is the two-hitter for the USA. Well, Kayla Underwood. Loads of experience behind her. She is living a record that she has already set. Most years played for Team USA, 11. No one has ever played that many years. Foul ball. Puts the count at 1-2. What she's trying to do right now is elevate the ball. She knows that the Canadian infield is better than they've shown the last 2 innings, and they're quite capable on a hard grounder to throw it and get a force out at home, or at least turn 2. She's looking to kind of an uppercut and get the ball out to the outfield, at least get a sac fly. Curveball hit down the line, but it's going to be foul. Boy, that was a sharp breaking curve. With 2 strikes, she got good wood, good aluminum that is on that one. All she's telling herself is, I am not going to strike out. I'm going to put the bat on the ball. And she does, and that's going to do the job of a sac fly. Volk is under it. The throw will not be able to get home in time, so the U.S. will... Here, there may be a double play now because the runner at second did try to advance to third, thinking the throw was going home. A 1-throw run down from the first baseman, who was the cutoff, to the second baseman, who took the bag. Well done, Canada, but a run does score before that out was tagged. It's a timing play, so that run does count. If it was a force out, it'd be a different story. So the U.S. scores a pair on a sac fly, followed by, I guess that would be 7 to 5, because the third baseman would have been the cutoff there. 7 to 5, back to 4, and then she chased it down for the 1-throw tag. Nevertheless, the USA scores again, and they lead Canada 7 to 4 now. Canada took the early lead with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. The Americans had plated 1. Canada scored another in the bottom of 2 to take a 4-1 lead. The Americans tied it up in the third. Canada has not scored since, but the U.S. scored 1 in the 5th and now 2 in the 6th to take a 7-4 lead. Canada has a pair of at-bats left. They're in the bottom of the 6th, so this game is far from over.
0-2. You have 5 minutes to come up to the press box. And
The Canadian leadoff hitters
5-8-8-0-2
have reached base on the first inning, second inning, third inning, but not the 4th or 5th. So they're trying to bring that back, and they wouldn't have anybody better come to the plate than the woman who's batting .667 in the Friendship Series. That's Maddie Willen. She's 4 for 6, so she's been hitting the ball hard every at-bat. So that's who you want up. Emma Carr is on deck. Claire Eccles will follow her. Carr may not come to the plate because there's a right-hander on deck, and Carr is a great left-handed hitter. I don't think she's going to be trying an experiment, so that looks like the veteran Elena Martinez on deck. So don't be surprised if she takes over. Canada tries a righty against the lefty. There's a hit down the line, and Willen has done it again. Maddie Willen goes 5 for 7. Even though she's down 3 runs, she's going to take second. On the grounded by third base, and what a hot hitter she is. Willen leading the way for Canada. She'll be very conservative because we don't need 1, we need 3. And Willen is going to have a pinch hitter. Ashley Stevenson taking no chances here. She's going to put a faster runner on base. The runner is the speedster, right fielder, Senna Catterall, sorry. She is now the runner on second. Emma Carr is being pinch hit for by Elena Martinez.
For Team Canada in place of Emma Carr. Number 31, Elena Martinez.
And the winner of
Typical move against a left-handed pitcher. Carr is a left-handed hitter, so when you've got a bat on the bench like Elena Martinez, you want to get it in somewhere. So now is a good time to Ashley Stevenson to consider that. Let's see if Martinez can come through. That ball hit her on the left arm. Canada has 2 runners on, making some noise here, down by 3, but they've got the first 2 runners on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Coming to the plate now is left-handed hitter Claire Eccles. Eccles is 0 for 5 so far in the Friendship Series, so she's due, no question. And she has a good history of hitting behind her. She's just still a little bit of cobwebs coming back to this team after 3 years, and didn't get a chance to play in the national championships because she works with the Canadian soccer team, and they had a huge tournament. I believe they lost to the Americans in the gold medal game, so she's had the Canada-American thing going on in her life, but now she's got a bat in her hand instead of a soccer ball. She tries to bunt. What an interesting move. We need 3, but a lefty against lefty, nothing wrong with thinking about a bunt. Shaking up the U.S. defense, and now the U.S. is talking about it. Okay, who's coming in? What are we going to do? I think the third baseman, Kylie Lawners, just told her infield, I'm staying back. So pitcher, you've got my side of the field. I want that lead runner out at third. And an aggressive swing by Claire Eccles on that one. That's the normal play. The pitcher is expected to cover the third base side on a bunt over there and hopefully pick up the ball, especially a left-handed pitcher, and whip it to third base and get the lead runner out. First baseman has to charge a little bit earlier, so she won't be worrying about covering the runner. And the pitcher has to know she's got to get over there, but not with 2 strikes. There's not going to be a bunt now. There goes everybody on a pickoff play. That was a deception play. What they were doing was trying to get to the pinch runner, and sometimes pinch runners come in cold, not just physically, but mentally. And the shortstop made it obvious to Catterall that she was running over to third to cover the base. But in the meantime, the second baseman, Alex Hugo, snuck in for the attempted pickoff. Canada's had a couple of base running gaffes, so why wouldn't the Americans try to pull a trick out of their hat like that? It's first and second here, bottom of the 6th inning. Canada trailing 7-4, but the tying run is at the plate, and Claire Eccles, 2-2 count. Lefty against lefty. For the Americans, this is Nikki Eckert. She's only given up 1 hit in her 2 innings. She walked the leadoff hitter this inning. Maddie Willen led off with a double, and then she plunked the veteran, Elena Martinez. That's why she's on first base, rubbing her left arm. Claire Eccles is up now, and we go to the top of the order. Ellie Jesperson, who's reached twice and scored twice. So Canada's threatening. Outside, ground ball hit by the third baseman. No, it's snagged, and I think nobody is going to be out. All she could do was dive for the ball, therefore saving a run, because most certainly Catterall would have scored on the play, so she saved her team a run, but she was laid out so far, there was no way that she was going to get up and be able to throw out the speedy Claire Eccles, who was a center fielder. So that loads the bases for Canada. Catterall on third, Martinez on second, and Eccles on first. Ashley Stevenson, if I were her, would be holding up signs. I'd bring in a billboard and I'd get someone with a bullhorn saying, tag online drives. Canada got nailed yesterday with a double error, so to speak, with base runners. There was a line drive hit to center field, and with less than 2 out, you always tag up. Even though it was a line drive that looked like it was going to be a hit, the American center fielder caught the ball, threw it to second to get our runner who thought it was going to drop and didn't tag up, and our runner retreated to third but was unable to score, and she would have been able to score easily on that play. I think Ashley Stevenson probably lost sleep on that one. It wasn't her fault. She was surely screaming. The runner simply got tricked. So I'd like to yell out right now, tag on all line drives. There's a line drive single to left field. Canada narrows the score. No one else is going to run. Stevenson holds up Matucci, and Maddie Willen scores on the run scoring RBI by Ellie Jesperson, a line to left field. Keeps the bases loaded. Now we have Matucci at third, Claire Eccles at second, and the leadoff hitter Jesperson is now the go-ahead runner at first. Mia Volk has had a couple of hits today. Americans know that probably not the one to throw first pitch fastball to. She hit the one earlier this game in the air to the left field corner to the 330 sign. They'll probably stick with junk for her in this count, this at bat. Count is 1-0 with a curveball. Here comes another soft pitch. Oh, that looked like maybe just took something off of her fastball, because she's got a bit more than that. Might have been a two-seamer, so to speak. Just came in a little bit slower. That makes another pitch in her weaponry. 1-1 count to Volk. Bases loaded. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Another fastball, but outside. Going to see a fastball here, because if she misses with a curveball, although she has a lot of confidence in it, it puts in her 3-1 count, and then Volk knows she's getting a fastball. So Volk should know 2 heaters might be coming. She fouls it off, making the count 2-2. With the tying run on second base, this is the one where the pitcher doesn't want Volk to get to a full count. 2-2. Still nobody out for Canada. Outside, ground ball. It's going to go through the hole. It makes the score 7-6. She's sending the runner. We got a play at the plate. Here's the relay throw home. She is safe. Volk knocks in 2. Canada has tied the score 7-7 with 3 runs and still 2 runners on with nobody out in the 7th inning. As Volk rips a 2-strike curveball, it looked like something soft into left field through the hole, just like Ellie Jesperson did the batter before. Americans look like they're going to make a pitching change, and that's going to be Maggie Midlinger, I think, coming. Meidlinger, I believe it's pronounced. Should be a right-hander. Give Canada a change. Nice job done, though, by the lefty, Nikki Eckert. She retired her first 6 hitters, and then Canada got to her in the 6th inning. Let's go through what's happened if you just tuned in this now tied ball game with 1 inning to go. Canada was down 7-4. They had the early lead, but the Americans came back and passed by them, took a 7-4 lead heading into the bottom of 6. Maddie Willen ripped a double for her 5th hit of the tournament. She's 5 for 7, ripped a double, followed by Ella Matucci pinch hitting for Emma Carr and getting beamed. Claire Eccles then singled on a soft ground ball that nobody could field, and that loaded the bases. Ellie Jesperson, the leadoff hitter, came up and for the 2nd or 3rd time of the game reached base with a line shot between the 3rd baseman and shortstop, scoring Maddie Willen, making the score 7-5 and loading the bases again. Up came Mia Volk. She grounded a hit to left field through the shortstop and 3rd baseman as well, scoring 2 runs. Ashley Stevenson, the manager 3rd base coach, making an aggressive call, and with no outs, sending home Claire Eccles. Eccles hustled as much as she can. The Americans made a great relay to home plate. It was a bang-bang play, but Eccles was safe. The score is now tied. Canada has nobody out and runners on 1st and 2nd. Volk remains at 1st, and Ellie Jesperson, the leadoff hitter, at 2nd. So they got a pair of speedy runners, a new pitcher coming into the game, and Daphne Shelwana, a quality hitter herself, coming up. So far tonight, she has singled, lined out to right field, and grounded out to the 1st baseman. Big, strong pitcher on the mound for the Americans. Comes right over the top. That was a curveball she just warmed up with, and that thing is a 12-6er. That means if you think about a clock, it goes from the 12 right down to the 6, falls off the table, so to speak, and there's her fastball. Kind of like an Iron Mike pitching machine. She's built strong, and she comes right over the top. Not a high 3/4 or side armor. Sometimes you like to see that as a hitter because you can pick up the ball, but she's got to be 6 feet tall. I'm going to check their roster if I can find it. Question is, maybe Lizzie knows. Lizzie, how tall is Meidlinger? She looks like she might be 6 feet.
She's
6'2".
6'2".
So the advantage of being right over the top is sort of mitigated by the fact that that's a big plane with that ball coming down from a woman 6'2". That's coming down with another 1.5 feet above that, down to where you want to see it at your belt. So the ball is a straight fastball, but it drops about 4 feet over that 60 feet. And by the way, you've got a half second to do something with that. Hitters at this level, think of it, 5/10 of a second, 1/2 of a second from when the ball leaves the hand. And you have to decide whether or not it's a strike to swing at. You have to decide whether or not to swing, and you have to execute the swing in all of 5/10 of 1 second. Imagine how tough that is. Pickoff play at second base. Never know what Ashley Stevenson might be thinking here. Could it be a bunt? Could it be a hit and run? You got 2 speedy runners on. The score is tied. So things are free and easy. She doesn't have to score, but she sure would like to score. Will she let Daphne Jelen his bat, move the runners around? The Americans are making sure they keep a close check on Jesperson at second base. Overhand fastball. Fly ball hit down the right field line. Looks like it's going to sail foul, so if it's caught, the second base runner may advance, but it is not caught. What a long run and attempt by, that wouldn't be Martinez. That would be her replacement. That was Al Bayati, of course, yes. Had she caught that, the direction she was going, Volk may have tagged as well. So it might have been like a sacrifice bunt, but in a sacrifice fly format. So in a way, the Americans maybe don't mind that that wasn't. Here's a pop-up bunt, but it's on the foul side of the bag. Manager Ashley Stevenson pulling all the rabbits she's got in her hat out. A 1-strike bunt. Interesting. You certainly caught the Americans off guard. And she bunted to the right side, which you want to do to advance the 2 runners. However, it was just about 1.5 feet, 2 feet foul. It stayed on the dirt. That's how close it was to being fair. Now she has 2 strikes, 0-2 count, so a tough position. Jelen has seen all of her pitchers. And this one's hit down the right field line. Is it going to sail? It is a foul ball by just a couple of feet. 1 meter to you Americans. That's what we call 3 feet, and that wasn't any more than that. That might have scored 2 runs. That was going to be at least a double into the right field corner. They call it a game of inches. We might call it a game of centimeters. But either way, it's still an 0-2 count, and Daphne Jelena is still at the plate. What a seesaw battle here between the relief pitcher for the U.S., Maggie, and there's a ground ball up the middle. 1 run's coming. No, she's going to be held up. Even though Jesperson can run, she would have been out cold. Good read again by manager Ashley Stevenson, coaching third base. Isn't it fun to be up here and say, what would I do if I was the third base coach? And so far, Stevenson's made the right call each time. A really strong at bat with a single up the middle by Daphne Jelena, loading the bases. She almost flew out foul territory. She almost hit a double to the right field corner. Then she tried to bunt. And this brings up Elise Jelena, number 30. Bases loaded. Canada still has nobody out. They have had 6 straight hitters reach base. A double, a hit by pitch, a single, another single, another single, and another single. 4 straight singles. That one was off the new pitcher, Maggie Miglinger. And she knocks it down and throws it to home for the first out of the inning. Good play by Meidlinger just to first of all, protect yourself, but also knock down the ball and have the poise to pick it up and make an easy throw to the catcher for the 60-foot 6-inch out.
Batting number 7, Reese Valachi.
Bases remain loaded. Elise Berger at the plate. Daphne Jelena on first. Excuse me, Daphne Jelena at second because Elise Berger took first on the fielder's choice. Daphne Jelena's on second. Mia Volk is on third, and Jesperson was forced out at the plate on that play. 1 out. Canada wants to see the ball put in play. Here's a grounder. That should score a run, or maybe 2. It's a ground ball by the third baseman. Stevenson decides to hold up. She's seen that left fielder's arm, and Canada now takes a lead of 8-7 over the Americans here in the bottom of the 6th inning. What a comeback for Canada. Big RBI single by Reese Valachi. How about that? In her debut with Team Canada. How was your first game ever with Team Canada? You 17-year-old. Oh, I knocked in the go-ahead run against the Americans in the bottom of the 6th with the bases loaded. How's that for pressure? What a memory. Keep the ball. So Volk comes around to score. That's the second time she's crossed the plate tonight. The runners all advance 1. They're still loaded for Zoe Hicks. Hicks has been struck out twice tonight, and she grounded the first. The left-hander takes that overhand delivery. It is nice to take a couple of pitches because it's a very unusual release point. 6'2" pitcher, rare for a female, and she goes right over the top. If a giraffe could pitch, this is what you'd be looking at. Canada's ahead, 8-7. Bottom of the 6th inning. They were down 7-4 coming into this, and they plated 4 so far. They've gone around the order. The leadoff hitter for the inning, who doubled to start things off, is Maddie Willen. She's on deck, and if she gets pinch hit for, I'll be in the Olympics on the balance beam. She's 5 for 7, the leading hitter of the tournament. Started this whole rally with a double. Count goes to 3-1. Zoe Hicks is a dangerous hitter, and she is due. Bases loaded, 3-1 count. Pitcher's probably going to throw a fastball here. She does want a curveball to load it up. And she does throw a fastball, makes it full count. Hicks is not happy, and she's letting Kevin Ireland know that. Going to step out and take a breather. The count is full. The runners will be on the move since there are... No, there's only 1 out. They will not be on the move. Sorry about that. Foul tick, strike 3. Or do I have something wrong here? Oh, it was a balk? Did she throw full windup or from the stretch on that last pitch because the bases were full? Not quite sure what the balk was, but the pitch was nullified because there was a balk called on the U.S. pitcher, Meidlinger. That scores a run, makes it 9-7 Canada. And this might make it 10-7. It's deep enough for a sac fly. Stevenson will definitely send the runner, and there'll be no play at home plate. Canada goes ahead. Scoring is Elise Berger. That's the 6th run of the inning for Canada, making the score 10-7. These two teams have had so many games with so much character, so many seesaw battles. They're 5-8 against the Americans, all-time Canada, including the 2 losses. Actually, that'd be 5-9. They were 5-7 coming into this friendship series. The USA won the first 2 games heavily. And this is not a win by any stretch. America's down 3 runs, but remember, they scored 23 runs the first 2 games and 7 so far tonight. That's an average of 10 a game with the 7 they've scored now, so don't think their bats are going quiet. Canada cannot get enough runs. You can't express how important that runner on second is right now, Reese Valachi. You want her to score. You cannot sit on a lead. There's no quit in this team. We've seen it over the years, and we've already seen it with this team. Thunder Bay turned into Thunder Bats when the Americans got to town. There's a fly ball. It might be catchable. It's foul, but the third baseman's got room, and it's well done by Kylie Launers, ending the threat by Canada. But Canada scores a total of 6 runs. On 7 hits, I believe. They left 1 runner on, and they retake the lead. Going into the bottom of the 6th, down 7-4, plating 6 and taking the lead 10-7, going into the top of 7. Remember, we play 7-inning games in women's baseball. This will be the Americans' final at bat if they do not tie or take the lead in this game. Canada would have the home at bat in the bottom of the 7th if that happens. Canada's making a couple of defensive changes with a 3-run lead. They're going to put the best they can find out there. At second base, goes Ellie Jesperson, so she moves over from shortstop. And Senna Catterall, who pinch ran for Willie Madden. Maddie Willen is, well, I'm excited once we get the lead, aren't I? Senna Catterall is going to go over to short. If I can read her number under her ponytail. That might be Alexei. Is that Alexandre Fournier? Number 10? That's short? Okay. Alexandre Fournier replaces Jesperson as short, who moved over to second after Maddie Willen doubled and then was pinch ran for. Boy, Canada might be sorry about that one because she would lead off the bottom of the 7th if the Americans score 3 or more runs here. And that if is not in capital letters because they're more than capable. On the mound for Canada is number 32, Sophie Gagne.
Number 32, Sophie Gagne.
Trying to close out a victory right here. And it's going to take some kind of pitching to do it. Americans will lead off with a pinch hitter themselves. That looks like number 5, Jessie Baum. Jamie Baum, excuse me. And Baum will be hitting. Is Baum hitting for Ashton Lansdale then?
Yeah, she's already back.
Oh yeah. Ended last inning with a grounder. That's right. And then the runner was picked off, and that brings Whitmore up. And so Jamie Baum is batting for. No, Whitmore's swinging a bat. It's hard to tell because the on-deck hitter has a long ponytail as well. We'll get it straight for it in a sec. Okay, 14's on deck. That's Whitmore. And at the plate is number 5, Jamie Baum. Fly ball to deep center field. Claire Eccles camps under that one. Very, very dependable center fielder. You're happy when the balls hit to her. Had a lot of action tonight. It's about her 4th or 5th out, I think.
The designated hitter, Kelsey Whitmore.
Okay, so Baum hit for Lansdale. Whitmore having a great tournament at the plate. 3 for 3 in the first game when she pitched. 1 for 2 yesterday, couple of RBI. 4 for 7 coming into this game, and she gets nicked. So that puts a run around for the U.S., and that puts the tying run on deck. Kylie Launers coming to the plate. She has reached base 3 times tonight already. Twice, sorry. She actually grounded out to short her first time, singled her second time, and reached by an Eridor Canadian shortstop their 3rd time up. Launers was 1 for 5 coming into the game. Umpire's going to have a discussion with the pitcher or a warning or to change the ball. Maybe she saw it get scratched up or get some moisture on it somehow. Maybe the pitcher picked up the rosin bag while it was on the mound. You never know. So she's going to keep things clean. That's the other Canadian umpire at second base, Elise Berger. Canada definitely with one out wants to hold the runner close, keep that double play intact. Not to play for the Americans now is Kayla Underwood. After Whitmore was hit by a pitch. Launers a line drive, Eccles right there. It's a liner right into her glove. Boy, is that a tough play. What do? Do you run in? Do you run back? Or you just freeze and what you really do is count on your left and right fielder to see it from a profile and say, you're perfect, stay right there. And this outfield is an excellent outfield, and they communicate that way. So there's a huge out on a very, very quality at bat, a very well hit ball by Launers, but unfortunately for her, she lines out to Eccles for another put out by her this game. 2 outs for the Americans. Canada is 1 out away from a win. Trouble hitting come up though. Jade Gortares are at the plate. Runner on first. Gagne has retired 2 of the first 3 hitters this inning.
Fans are reminded tomorrow's game is at 3 o'clock, rescheduled from
Jesse
7:30.
Baum
3 o'clock tomorrow.
flew out to center to start the 7th after Canada plated 6 runs to take the lead in the bottom of the 6th, and then Kayla Underwood was Kelsey Whitmore was hit by a pitch, and Kayla Underwood hit a screaming liner to center for the 2nd out. Reminder to you as this game is possibly nearing the end that tomorrow's game is not at 7:30. The weather, the best the meteorologists can surmise at this point, 24 hours away, is it's going to be wet tomorrow night, so they're moving the game ahead. It's not at 7:30. It'll begin at 3 o'clock. Those of you watching, don't forget, 3 o'clock Eastern is first pitch tomorrow. It's a gutsy prediction because here on Lake Superior, there's a lot of unpredictable weather forecasts. Here we go. Slider on the outside of the plate. Makes the count full. The last thing Sophie Gagne wants to do right now is put her on base and bring the tying run to the plate. So she's not saying, I gotta, she's saying, I'm gonna throw a strike, and she did. Grounded to short. Will we get a force at second? No. She knocked it down. No sense making that throw at all. But it was caught, so no harm done. Once she realized she got to that ball that late, there was no way. That's going to be judged a single, no doubt, by the official score. And that does bring the tying run to the plate for the Americans. Never say never with this red, white, and blue team. Runners on first and second. Americans down by 3. 2 out here. Final inning, top of the 7th. The Americans batting as the visitors. Olivia Pichardo at the plate. Pichardo is grounded out, lined out to center, and walked and scored in the 6th inning. And here she is in the 7th. Left-handed hitter against a right-handed pitcher. Strike 1. What tension, what intensity in both dugouts. Sophie Gagne, the closer for Canada, on the mound. Pichardo, yesterday's starting pitcher, victorious 7-1 through 4.2 scoreless innings against Canada. Plays center field when she doesn't pitch, and she can hit too. She was 1 for 4 coming into this game. That pitch is just high, making the count 2-1. Pichardo has to know she's going to get some strikes here. Walks would just be the worst thing to happen when you have a 3-run lead. Swing and a miss. 2-2 is the count. Canada 1 pitch away from beating the Americans for the first time in 3 years. Actually, longer than that, because the Americans beat them in a 2019 Pan Am competition. Canada beat them in 2018. It's been 4 years from a victory. There's the pitch. It's a line drive. It is not caught. It's over the second baseman's head. American scores 1. They care about the hitter, not that runner, but they did throw for her. They got her at third on a gutsy play, trying to get the hitter to second, which would have tied the game. But a big throw from right field. Emma Carr lands at third base in the glove of Zoe Hicks, and they get out the advancing runner. 3 outs, 8 runs for the Americans, and the 2 runners fail to come across for the USA. Canada wins it 10-8, and it went right down to the final play of the game. A line drive hit over the Canadian second baseman, I'm so choked open this win. Jasperson, picked up by the center fielder Carr. The runner on first decided to try for third. Carr, you'd think she might have thrown to second to keep the tying run at first base, but she went for it. She's got a great arm and she showed it. One hop at third base. The runner was tagged out. Game's over. Canada 10, USA 8, and what a comeback for Canada. They had the lead. They fell behind. They were down 2-0 in this friendship series. Mightily won by the USA, and they showed tonight what they're made of and take home a 10-8 victory, and they are going to celebrate tonight and come back gunning for tomorrow to try to tie up the series. Hope you enjoyed this ball game. The Americans scored 1 in the final inning on a couple of hits. They leave 2 stranded. 10 runs, 13 hits for Canada, and 8 runs for 9 hits for the Americans. Please remember the news on tomorrow's game. It's going to be very much anticipated at Thunder Bay. It's going to come out in droves. Everybody pass the word. Don't come here at 7:30. You're going to be sorry you missed a great game. Tomorrow's game, Sunday, July 31st, will now begin at 3 o'clock due to the weather forecast, and rain is predicted for tomorrow night. So please tune in or get in your car and drive to Baseball Central here in Thunder Bay on the northwest side of Lake Superior. About 6-hour bus ride from the nearest major city in America, Minneapolis, St. Paul's. They'd go up the Wisconsin border with Lake Michigan, touch a bit in Minnesota, and then come on into Thunder Bay and meet us at Tim Hortons. Hope to have you here. Looking forward to it already. You got the Canadians playing in the major leagues tonight on our Canadian education to you Americans. Yesterday you got our top 10 actors, and the day before that you got the top 10 Canadian bands. So we're going to finish this 5-game friendship series in the next 2 days. One of them is going to be the best Canadian singers that we passed on to you, and the best Canadian comedians. So I'm not going to tell you what. You're going to have to tune in to find out. And we're so glad you did. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget it. The Americans have won 2. Canadians 1 in this 5-game friendship series hosted in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.